A dramatic robbery attempt unfolded inside a pharmacy in São Luís, Brazil, but it ended just as quickly as it began, thanks to the swift response of military police. Security footage shows two armed men rushing into the store, threatening employees and a customer as they demanded valuables. Before the suspects could carry out the robbery, officers stormed inside, catching them completely off guard and forcing an immediate surrender. Police arrested 3 suspects, all with prior robbery records, and seized crucial evidence at the scene. Their decisive intervention prevented what could have been a much more dangerous situation. A bold robbery unfolded Tuesday night at a grocery store on Poços de Caldas Street, where 2 armed criminals stormed in and held a teenager hostage. The suspects forced staff to hand over cash from the register and also stole the victim's mobile phone. But their escape didn't last long. Thanks to swift police action, both suspects were apprehended shortly after fleeing the scene. Officers recovered the stolen money and the mobile phone, ensuring the items were safely returned. Authorities have confirmed that the case is now under active investigation. It was just an ordinary day at the bank. Customers waiting, staff working, everything calm. But one person stayed fully alert: the security guard. His eyes scanned the room with quiet precision, and the moment he noticed a man dressed in black, his instincts told him something was wrong. Seconds later, the man stormed inside, pointing a gun straight at the guard in an effort to disarm him. But the guard reacted instantly. With sharp, trained movements, he overpowered and disarmed the attacker within moments. Before he could even catch his breath, a second robber rushed toward him. The guard spun around and struck with speed and force, sending the second attacker fleeing in fear. What was supposed to be a bold bank robbery in Minas Gerais quickly turned into pure comedy. Security cameras captured the moment a thief confidently approached the entrance, determined to grab cash from the high-tech ATMs, using only his feet. Yes, that was his big idea. After several clumsy attempts and still no money, reality hit hard. What he didn't know was that modern banks are equipped with automatic security lockdown systems. Once triggered, getting in may be easy, but getting out becomes impossible. And that's exactly what happened. The reinforced security revolving door trapped him instantly, turning his perfect plan into a humiliating nightmare. While desperately struggling to escape, his oversized shorts slipped down, leaving him almost half naked, exposing his brightly colored underwear for everyone to see. The daring heist he imagined became nothing more than a ridiculous circus act. The thief flailed helplessly inside the glass enclosure, panic written all over his face. Moments later, police arrived and took him into custody, ending what might be the funniest failed robbery of the year. Two thieves noticed a woman walking alone on the street. One of them jumped off the motorcycle and lunged at her, yanking her handbag in a violent robbery attempt. But help arrived out of nowhere. A driver coming from the opposite direction saw the assault and immediately swerved his car toward the accomplice waiting on the motorcycle, slamming into him with full force. Shocked and terrified, the robber released the woman and sprinted away, leaving his partner behind. A daring robbery shocked the city of Santo André, São Paulo, when a criminal approached a pedestrian and stole a gold chain, a mobile phone, and even the victim's wedding ring. The situation escalated instantly into a gunfight when a retired civil police officer witnessed the assault from across the street and decided to intervene. The suspect opened fire at least 6 times before jumping onto a motorcycle and fleeing the scene. He has not yet been captured. Fortunately, both the victim and the retired officer escaped unharmed during the exchange of gunfire. Police are now actively investigating and have already identified the suspect's home address as they work to track him down. A group of car thieves attempted to rob an elderly man, but they soon realized they had chosen the wrong victim. Despite his age, the man fought back with remarkable courage, refusing to let the criminals take his vehicle. As the struggle intensified, nearby bystanders rushed in without hesitation, coming together to defend the man and stop the attackers. A bold phone snatching took place at the busy Lomas de Zamora station on the Roca line, where a young man grabbed a woman's cell phone and attempted to make a quick escape. What he didn't realize was that every second of his crime was being closely monitored by Trenes Argentinos' surveillance system. After failing to board a train in time, the thief tried to change his appearance by removing his outer clothing, hoping to blend into the crowded station, but it was already too late. Thanks to real-time tracking by security staff, police were waiting for him just outside the station, swiftly arresting him and taking him into custody. A shocking incident shook the neighborhood of Lomas del Mirador in Buenos Aires province when a man named Javier used his Volkswagen Amarok to run over a gun-wielding thief who was robbing a diaper store and threatening his father-in-law. Security camera footage captured the tense moment the criminal pulled out a gun, appearing ready to fire, prompting Javier to act without hesitation. Prosecutor Adrián Rivas released him shortly after, ruling the case as justifiable self-defense. The dramatic case has stirred intense debate in the region and has already drawn comparisons to another high-profile incident involving a butcher in Zarate. Remarkably, this becomes the second justifiable self-defense ruling in the same jurisdiction within just 1 week, highlighting a worrying surge in violent confrontations between citizens and criminals. A tense and dangerous situation unfolded during a bank robbery attempt, when a fearless woman confronted an armed criminal head-on. Instead of surrendering to fear, she stood her ground, disrupting the robber's plan and forcing him to flee the scene. Because of the high-risk nature of the crime, and the possibility that the suspect could return or target others, military forces were urgently called in to assist police in securing the area and tracking down the fleeing attacker. Authorities praised the woman's courage and quick reaction, noting that her actions may have prevented a far more violent outcome. Meanwhile, an active manhunt is underway, as investigators work to locate the suspect and bring him to justice. This guy walked into the store, grabbed some beer, and clearly had no intention of paying. When the cashier reached for her phone to call the police, he snapped. Without warning, he hurled a beer bottle directly at her. Then things escalated fast. Consumed by rage, he charged at the cashier. Terrified, she ran outside, screaming for help, but he chased her down and struck her repeatedly. The attack showed no signs of stopping. That's when a man sitting in a nearby car noticed what was happening. Without hesitating, he grabbed his gun, stepped out, and aimed it at the attacker, instantly bringing the violent rampage to an end. Thanks to his decisive intervention, the woman escaped further harm, and police were notified immediately. Patrol units from the Tigre Operations Center, QOT, acted with lightning speed after a man snatched a woman's purse in the Las Tunas neighborhood, at the intersection of Echeverria and Ascuénaga streets. The moment the thief grabbed the bag and attempted to flee, a nearby patrol immediately came to the victim's aid and launched a rapid pursuit. Just a few blocks away, at Francisita and Calle 3, officers intercepted the suspect and arrested him on the spot. The stolen belongings were recovered and quickly returned to the victim. Tigre's robust security network, featuring more than 130 patrol units and over 2,000 surveillance cameras, played a crucial role in ensuring a swift response. These systems allow authorities to detect crimes in real time, respond within minutes, and prevent dangerous situations from escalating. Supported by citizen protection, civil defense, traffic units, and SET ambulances, Tigre continues to demonstrate the effectiveness of coordinated monitoring and immediate intervention. Another crime stopped, before it could go any further. A terrifying robbery attempt quickly turned into a scene straight out of an action film. Just as an armed thug aimed his gun at a young woman and tried to steal her belongings, a man burst out of a nearby house, launching a powerful flying kick that sent the attacker staggering backward. Stunned and completely thrown off his plan, the robber turned and ran for his life. No cape, no mask. Just a real-life hero stepping in at the perfect moment to save a woman in danger. A dramatic crime unfolded in western São Paulo, Brazil, when a retired military police officer was ambushed by 3 armed robbers while riding his motorcycle. Security cameras captured the moment 2 motorcycles carrying the suspects pulled up and threatened him at gunpoint, demanding his vehicle. At first, the former officer complied, stepping off the motorcycle and walking toward the sidewalk as ordered. But in a sudden and decisive move, he drew his own firearm and opened fire, catching the criminals off guard and sending them scrambling to escape. One suspect was hit during the exchange and later taken into custody at a hospital, while the remaining 2 fled the scene. Civil police are currently investigating the incident, and authorities say the retired officer acted in legitimate self-defense. A group of armed robbers in a red car, likely stolen, screeched to a stop after spotting a white vehicle parked nearby. One of them immediately jumped out, pointing a gun at the driver and threatening him. To avoid being harmed, the driver abandoned his car and ran to safety. But he wasn't finished. From a secure position, he pulled out his own firearm and fired a warning shot, startling the armed robber. The tables instantly turned. Seizing the opportunity, the driver acted swiftly, apprehended the shocked criminal, and handed him over to the police. This thief snatched an item from an elderly man, sending the poor victim crashing painfully to the ground, then tried to make his escape on a bicycle. But what he didn't realize was that several young men had witnessed the entire attack. Without hesitation, they sprinted after him, and since the thief wasn't exactly the fastest cyclist, they caught up in no time, one of them delivering a perfectly aimed kick that sent him flying off the bike. The group immediately called the police and pinned the thief to the ground until officers arrived. Minutes later, he was handcuffed, arrested, and taken straight to jail. Sometimes, justice rides faster than a stolen bicycle. A robber pointed a gun directly at him. But this man barely reacted. No panic, no fear. He just kept eating his fried chicken as if nothing was happening. Because possessions can be replaced, but a life cannot. His incredible calm under pressure turned a dangerous moment into a harmless one. A fearless attitude that's nothing short of admirable. A brazen robbery attempt rocked a neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro when an off-duty socio-educational agent was confronted by 2 armed criminals while walking down the street. Realizing he was moments away from being attacked, the agent, who was carrying his service weapon, reacted with lightning speed. He drew his firearm and opened fire to defend himself, forcing the assailants to abandon their plan and flee the area in panic. A dramatic armed robbery was swiftly thwarted, thanks to an incredible display of teamwork. The robber stormed in with a weapon and menace in his eyes, But he didn't stand a chance. Within moments, the staff sprang into action, coordinating silently yet flawlessly. Together they overpowered him, disarmed him, and held him down with unwavering determination. The criminal could do nothing but lie there, completely subdued, waiting to be handed over to the police in utter defeat. A reckless carjacker thought he had found the perfect victim. A lone driver, stopped and vulnerable. He pointed his gun, yelled threats, and dragged the man from his own vehicle, ready to flee with the stolen car. But within seconds, his bold crime turned into a nightmare. The helpless driver was actually an undercover police officer who swiftly drew his own weapon and took control of the situation. He had been watching, calm, aware, and prepared. The moment the robbers jumped out of their vehicle, thinking they had the upper hand, he made his move. Without hesitation, he drew his gun and fired in self-defense. Caught completely off guard, the criminals panicked, scrambling back into their car and fleeing for their lives. One brave man. One split-second decision. These two guys thought it would be an easy car theft, but the security system immediately alerted the homeowner about the break-in. Realizing they'd been caught, the criminals bolted and fled the scene in panic. A timely reminder: stay alert during the holiday season. This is when thieves are most active.
Are you okay? Are you okay? We see that two guys is coming to your front door. And it's wrong. As we see on the camera.
The robbers' plan was simple: barge in, demand cash, and escape. But the cashier had a better one. With perfect timing, she stepped out, slammed the security door shut, locked him inside, and calmly called the police. In seconds, the would-be thief found himself trapped. Three armed suspects on a motorcycle followed the victim into a residential neighborhood. As the businessman attempted to park his car, one of the attackers approached and opened fire at close range. Miraculously, the businessman survived, thanks to his vehicle being equipped with bulletproof glass, which showed 3 clear bullet impacts from the attack. The criminals quickly fled the scene, but one suspect's face was clearly captured on a neighborhood security camera. Authorities have opened an investigation, gathering evidence and information about the victim, who is reportedly involved in the corn trade and a public transportation company that had previously been targeted by extortion. Police in Los Angeles are hunting a group of violent criminals behind a series of follow-home robberies striking North Hollywood. One major suspect, 20-year-old repeat offender Deshaun Dow, is believed to be tied to multiple attacks. Surveillance footage from the latest incident shows a couple being cornered inside the parking garage of their apartment complex after returning home just before midnight on October 10th. two hooded men ambushed them, aggressively trying to rip a luxury watch from the male victim's wrist. The thieves escaped, and investigators say Dow has a long history of arrests connected to similar crimes. Authorities are urging residents to stay alert as the search intensifies. Please be cautious when going out alone after dark. Thieves often target women, attempting to snatch mobile phones, handbags, or purses, believing they are easy targets. Stay aware of your surroundings, keep valuables secure, and whenever possible, walk with others or in well-lit areas. Your safety comes first, always. This incredible woman summoned every ounce of strength she had to stop intruders from forcing their way into her home. With her little daughter behind her, she fought with pure determination and refused to let fear take over. Her courage and instinct to protect her child turned a terrifying moment into a powerful act of bravery. A police officer was on duty when a chilling alert flashed across his phone. His own home was being broken into. Security cameras showed the unthinkable. Two armed criminals had forced their way inside and taken his 77-year-old uncle hostage. Without a second of hesitation, the officer initiated an urgent response. What happened next was a tense operation unfolding both on camera and in real time. Tactical units rushed to the residence while security footage captured the suspects scrambling to escape. Their desperate run didn't last long. Officers pursued, tackled, and swiftly handcuffed them before anyone else was harmed. Investigators later confirmed the pair were no strangers to crime. They arrived in a stolen car, armed and equipped with burglary tools. Stolen valuables were recovered at the scene. These two robbers were dangerously reckless, but evil deeds don't go unpunished. What they didn't know was that police had been tracking their every move for weeks. And when the moment was right, officers struck fast, catching them red-handed and putting an end to their crime spree in an instant. Swift justice. CCTV cameras captured two young criminals smashing their way into a parked car along the Panamericana service road in El Talar. But their robbery didn't last long. Operators at the Municipal Monitoring Center sounded the alarm immediately, sending patrol units racing toward the scene. The suspects tried to run, but security cameras tracked their every move. Within minutes, officers intercepted them as they attempted to escape across a pedestrian bridge, shutting down the crime before it even began. Both were arrested and handed over to the justice system. Thanks to Tigra's powerful network of more than 2,000 security cameras and rapid response patrol teams, criminals are learning one hard lesson. If you strike here, you won't get far.
Hey, back up. Back the...
What you doing, bro?
Okay, you got it.
What's bracking?
Nothing.
Huh?
It's bracking.
Get on the ground right now, homie. Right now.
KP.
You better get on the ground, bro.
You got it, B. You got it, B.
All the way down.
You got it, B.
And don't move.
Yep, you got it, B.
You hear me?
Yes.
Put the fuck down, bro.
I got it, P.
Don't you fucking move.
All right, P. All right, you got my word, bro.
Boy,
You can at least get on my
you
name.
motherfuckers think you're fucking slick, don't you?
You can at least
Huh?
No, I can't.
You come over here messing with this man's house?
No, man. Come on, bro.
For real?
My brother's in the hospital, bro. I promise you, bro.
You're gonna stay right here because the police are coming to get you, bro.
Okay, bro.
You hear me? Put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
Put your hands behind your back.
Please get off my back, bro.
I just caught him trying to steal stuff from
I
this guy's
got
house.
asthma, bro.
Don't move.
Can't breathe.
Don't move, man.
I can't
Put your other hand behind your back.
I can't breathe.
It seemed like a routine afternoon inside a busy shopping mall, until 4 thieves launched a ruthless ambush on a jewelry store. At first, 2 of them blended in as customers. But within seconds, 2 more burst inside, brandishing weapons and ordering employees to hand over high-value merchandise. Surveillance cameras recorded the terrifying chaos as the criminals threatened staff and smashed display cases. But the heist collapsed the moment a highly trained security guard stepped out from a restricted area. Without hesitation, he triggered the alarm and confronted the attackers head-on. A fierce gunfight erupted, bullets flying across the store as shoppers ran for cover. In the intense exchange of fire, the gang's leader was taken down, while the remaining robbers were quickly overpowered and arrested at the scene. Police say this investigation is still expanding. At least 6 accomplices were reportedly waiting outside to support the escape and are now the target of an active manhunt. A bizarre and unforgettable arrest unfolded in Hong Kong when a thief, completely unaware of his fate, hopped onto a motorbike taxi. What he didn't know was that the driver was taking him directly to the police station. By the time the thief realized something was wrong, it was far too late. Officers were already waiting to arrest him the moment he arrived. Two suspects on a motorcycle had just stolen valuables and were speeding away when they suddenly collided with a family's car. Instead of fleeing, one of them opened fire at close range. The young woman in the passenger seat was struck, but fortunately the injury was not life-threatening. Doctors say the bullet's location requires careful treatment to ensure a full recovery. In that tense moment, the brother, who was driving, reacted instinctively. He accelerated to push the attacker away, creating a chance for them to escape to safety. Police are now investigating the armed robbery that turned into a sudden ambush, collecting evidence and working to identify the suspects. Confronting criminals isn't always about physical strength. The smartest and safest way to protect yourself from violent robbers is to stay one step ahead. Always stay aware of your surroundings. If threatened, remember your safety matters more than your belongings. Find the quickest way to escape danger. Seek help and contact the police as soon as you can. Stay alert to avoid becoming a target. Protect yourself with awareness, caution, and smart decisions. A woman had barely stepped outside a store when chaos broke loose behind her. 5 to 6 men suddenly stormed in with a violent rush. The security guard tried to slam the door shut to block their entry, but it was already too late. These were armed robbers, and one carried a large hammer, striking instant terror into everyone inside. But in the heat of the panic, a 70-year-old man reacted faster than anyone could have expected. Sensing the danger, he drew his legally owned firearm with remarkable speed and precision. The glint of the weapon was all it took. In a moment, the robbers' bold plan turned into pure fear. They shoved and stumbled over each other in a frantic race to escape, abandoning their crime as quickly as they started it. A terrifying robbery shut down by the courage of one quick-thinking senior citizen. The peaceful neighborhood was suddenly shattered by the roar of a motorcycle. Out of nowhere, a man sped toward a woman walking alone. He jumped off, pointed a gun at her, and demanded everything she had. Terrified and outmatched, she could only obey. It looked like the robber would escape with his stolen goods. But fate, and a fearless citizen, had other plans. A pickup truck came charging in at full speed, striking the accomplice and sending the entire crime into chaos. The shocked gunman abandoned the woman and ran for his life, a lesson delivered with horsepower and courage. Sometimes, heroes arrive behind the wheel. A street robber in São Paulo has been arrested after posing as a food delivery rider to carry out a series of violent thefts across the city. Using a stolen motorcycle and the uniform of a well-known delivery app, the suspect targeted pedestrians on busy streets, focusing on high-value items like smartphones and gold wedding rings. Police noted that gold prices have surged to record highs in 2025, making wedding bands a prime target for quick resale in the criminal market. After multiple robbery reports in the city's southern zone, investigators used surveillance cameras and tracking tools to locate the suspect. When officers closed in, they seized the stolen motorcycle, a weapon, and 12 gold wedding rings, directly linking him to the crime spree. Authorities say the arrest is a crucial victory in the fight against a growing trend. Criminals disguising themselves as delivery workers to ambush unsuspecting victims. Two thieves thought they could casually grab beer from a convenience store and stroll out like nothing happened. In an instant, the store clerk pulled out pepper spray and unleashed it directly at them. One of the suspects was immediately overwhelmed, unable to fight back. The other tried to resist, but she refused to back down. With impressive determination, she seized the stunned suspect, dragged him back inside, and slammed the alarm button to alert police. What they expected to be an effortless theft turned into a humiliating defeat, all in a matter of seconds. A robbery attempt on a busy avenue was abruptly halted when two criminals on a motorcycle targeted a family stopped at a red light. Security footage captures the moment the suspects pulled up alongside the vehicle and began snatching belongings through the windows. Unbeknownst to them, an off-duty police officer was sitting just behind. Recognizing the crime instantly, the officer raced forward, disrupting the attack and chasing the fleeing suspects at high speed. The pair attempted to escape through traffic, but their getaway fell apart fast. In a reckless maneuver, they slammed into a delivery driver's motorcycle, toppling it to the ground. Officers closed in moments later, successfully capturing both suspects. A shocking case has emerged involving a violent hit-and-run attack that left a military police officer gravely injured, with investigators pointing to a crime of passion as the motive. According to authorities, the officer had been engaged in an extramarital affair with the wife of the driver. Overcome by rage after discovering the betrayal, the husband allegedly used his car as a weapon, ramming the officer and knocking him to the ground. But the assault didn't end there. Investigators say the suspect then stole the officer's service weapon and fired multiple shots before fleeing the scene. He later abandoned both the vehicle and the firearm as he attempted to escape. Police are continuing the search for the suspect as the shocking details of the case unfold. Two thieves thought the dark of night would give them the perfect chance to break into a man's home and steal whatever they could grab. But what they didn't know was that the homeowner and his neighbor were already waiting for them. As soon as the intruders stepped inside, the pair launched their ambush, confronting the thieves and catching them on the spot before they could escape or take anything. A surprise for the criminals, a victory for community vigilance. A brazen robbery broke out inside a dental clinic in Brazil. But the criminals had no idea their victims included the worst possible target. Among the patients was a 46-year-old federal police officer, a seasoned veteran with 25 years of service. He had only come in for a routine procedure to fix a broken tooth, and instead found himself face to face with danger. Reacting with absolute precision, the off-duty officer took down both suspects, neutralizing the threat before anyone was hurt. Maintaining full control of the situation, he calmly instructed a clinic staff member to call the police and keep watch over the subdued attackers until backup arrived.